Hello everyone, my name is Isaac Kang, and today I am going to do my reality bite. What I will be discussing today and informing you is chapter 7, which is the listening section, but also I will be correlating that chapter to the 2020 vice presidential debate. So before we talk about the correlation with the 2020 vice presidential debate, I want to inform you guys about what listening is, the ways of listening, and the common barriers of effective listening. So first, what is listening? In definition of the textbook that we use, it is the active process of making meaning out of another person's spoken message. So already you guys are doing that, listening to me as you watch this video. Now, within listening, there are three ways of listening or three types of listening. The first is information listening, which is information to learn. So those type of listening you often see through listening to teachers or through education. Critical listening is listening to evaluate or analyze something. So those are studies or analytical situation or atmosphere that you would listen and think about. Even maybe the presidential debate, you could be critical about it. Then there is empathetic listening, which is trying to understand what the speaker is thinking or feeling. So empathetic listening usually happens, with one-on-one, with therapy or connection when one is feeling down and they share with one another. The main importance of empathetic listening is connecting with one another. So those are the three ways of listening. However, though they are effective, there are some common barriers to those, which the common barriers are pseudo listening, noise, information overload, glazing over, rebuttal listening, close mindedness, and competitive interrupting. Now, that's a lot. That's a lot of competitive barriers. But what I want to emphasize or focus is noise and competitive interrupting. Now, those are probably the two most common and most used that you will see, especially to the 2020 vice presidential debate. So, how is listening, the chapter of listening, connect to 2020 vice presidential debate? There is actually a lot that connects to it. The first is the ways of listening. Now, if you think about it, Harris and Pence, they're competing against each other and they have to listen to each other, listen to what they're saying, listen to what they're commenting, and figure out how to beat each other. So the ways that they're listening are critical. Pence and Harris, they're using critical listening, listening to evaluate each other and find correction or objection against their statement. Now, for the viewers like us and you, when we watch the debate, we're not critically listening, maybe listening to gain information, informational listening, but I would say empathetic listening is what we're listening because we're trying to understand, we're trying to feel and think and maybe believe what Harris and Pence are saying. We want that to be true. And if that is true, then we're going to vote for them, obviously. So there is that, Pence, Harris, they're critical listening, but as viewers like us and me and you, it's empathetic listening. Now, with that listening, it's not always 100%. The reason why is obviously you guys know there is noise, there's interruption, there's a lot of going on in that debate, more than you think. There's the topics, big topics, or controversies such as Black Lives Matter, COVID, and global warming, and they talk about it. But the biggest thing is Harris and Pence interrupting each other. There is competitive interrupting, and the interruption is such a big importance to the debate, so that one can be annoyed or one can be triggered, to make entertainment or make shame, And how is that, correlated to listening? Well, according to Ronald Rosendal Jacobson from the Journal of Pragmatics, he quotes, quote, "The co-constructional functions of interruptions relate directly to something the current speaker has just said, to the interaction environment in which an interruption is placed, and to the wider campaign context drawn upon the candidates." Quote end. Jacobson continues on saying there are two elements. The first is interruption as a immediate response to object or correct. Now that's obviously seen to really make the distance between the two. But then also there is interruption as sequential to either attack or defend. Now, that's obviously seen within the presidential debate with Trump and Biden, but there are some cases that are within Harris and Pence. The biggest thing is there is a portion where Pence is interrupting Harris because of taxes, and Harris starts to say, can you please be quiet?" So that was, you can think of it as an attack and defense against Pence, which that is to shut Pence up in order for him to listen. Now, with that said, uh, the interruption, competitive interruption, definitely affects our listening and how we want to be persuaded and vote. With that said, before I close, I want to give you guys a discussion post. The discussion post is: what type of listener are you, and what are the common barriers that you have? If you were Harris or Vice President Pence, how would you break through the common barriers in the vice presidential debate? Thank you.